I'm Debbie, and welcome to my 2025 WIP Parade. The last time I did a WIP Parade was about a year ago, so this is a good time to do it. I did go back through my previous WIP Parade and tried to pull screenshots of where things were so that we can kind of compare. Before we get into it, I will just do a very brief introduction for myself, since a lot of people find new floss tubes through WIP parades. So like I said, my name is Debbie. I love cross stitching, obviously. I have been cross stitching for years. Typically, I had started when I was a teenager, just going through my local craft store, trying to find it, wanting to try a new hobby, and picked up a dimensions kit, and that was my introduction to cross stitch. It's fluctuated over the years, but I've probably been cross stitching very consistently since 2016, I think. I have recently moved from Arizona to West Virginia. I had lived in Arizona for like 30 years. Never lived in West Virginia, but here we are. And I am enjoying the different seasons, since in Arizona I lived in the Phoenix area and it's just desert. So you have summer and then you have like a mild winter, and that's it. And of course, winter there is not what you would think of if you live in a place with all four seasons, of course. So I live just outside of Morgantown, West Virginia, pretty close to the Pennsylvania border. And I have a grown son. He's just about to turn 20, and he's living his own life back in Arizona. And as far as cross stitching, I love a wide variety of projects. I love full coverage. I love non-full coverage. I love kind of some traditional primitive type cross stitch, and then I love super modern cross stitch. So you will find in this WIP Parade quite a wide variety of things. I have done the maths, and I have 55 WIPs. About 10 or more are kind of on pause right now. Like they're not, I don't have any like active goals for them, and I may not have touched them in a couple years, but they're still WIPs because I do plan on finishing them at some point. I have separated out my WIPs into seasons. So I've grouped everything by summer, fall, winter, and spring. Some of them will be blatantly, like obviously that is a summer piece, but some of them are just if they feel like summer pieces to me, or if they feel like pieces that I'll work on during a certain season, I've labeled them as such. And interestingly, not surprisingly, autumn is my largest category. I have 20 WIPs that fall into the autumn category. Summer is my next highest with 18. And then winter, I only have 5. That tells you anything. And then spring, I have 12. And spring actually is probably the category that has the most new starts since the last WIP Parade. And that may have something to do with the fact that I experienced my first winter in over 30 years this past winter. And so when spring started, I was craving spring by like mid-January. So that's probably what has fueled those starts. Okay, without further ado, we are just gonna hop into this. The first piece, and so since we're in summer, we're gonna start with the summer season, and then we're gonna do the cycle. The first piece I have to show you is a dimensions kit. This is actually a new start since the last WIP Parade, and it is Victorian Charm. And I started this when we had put in an offer on a house in West Virginia, and we were still like, we were waiting for the inspection and everything to come back. So it was like contingent. We weren't sure if it was actually going to happen or not. And so I've had this kit for a long time, and I pulled it out and I was like, I'm going to stitch on this until like the house, like until we know for sure if we're actually buying a house or not. And so I stitched on this for about a week straight, and then I haven't picked it up since. But I have always loved this piece. I've loved seeing everyone's finishes, and so it was nice to start it. So a week's worth of progress. I started in the middle, and just so you can see kind of the whole thing. Obviously it's see-through, but I'm gonna fold it in half for you here. Get a close-up. So there's no before because this was a new start. And I did make a counting error in one of those windows and have worked my way to fudging it. So yeah, when I pick this up again, I might need to refresh my memory, but I think I'm pretty good because the error was in this first one, and I have since worked across the bottom to get things where they need to be, so it should be fine. But yeah, so that is Victorian Charm. That's about a week's worth of progress. And no plans to bring it out anytime soon, but I wouldn't call it like a paused WIP because I might pick that up, so we'll see. I didn't think about where I'm gonna put my stuff. Put it down there. Okay, the next piece is also a new start since the last WIP Parade. This is actually a recent start in the last month. This is called Morning Lake. It's Dimensions Gold Collection Petites kit. And I started in the middle on this one as well. This is being done on 18 count ivory Aida. Victorian Charm was also 18 count navy Aida, I believe. And here is where we are. I started in the middle and I was just kind of picking colors from there, trying to fill it in a bit, and I have gotten to both edges of the sides. And this one's been a lot of fun. It's some moody, like sunset colors, which I like. Well, I guess it's Morning Lake, so it's got to be the sunrise, right? Yeah. So that one might come out again this summer. It would be a good travel piece because it all fits in this little thing. So that might come out. All right, the next one is another Dimensions Gold Petite. It is called Cliffside Beacon. I started this last year before my WIP, so there is a before picture of this one. And I did put some work on it since the WIP Parade, but it was last summer while I was on vacation, and I haven't stitched on it since last summer. So this one is on an 18 count ivory Aida. And I had started in the middle on this one as well. Oh, there's a needle still in it with 3 strands. Let me stick this at the back. Okay. So here is where we are. I'm going to hold it here so I can put the screenshot of where it was last next to it so you can compare. And yeah, I definitely need to put some more work into this one. I don't know, it might be between this and Morning Lake of which one I'd bring on vacation. So that one is a lot of fun. Next, we have a WIP that is on pause. I have not stitched on this since probably 2021, maybe. I started it in 2020. It's called Adjust Your Sails. It's by Little Dove Designs. I am stitching this on a 32 count blue fabric that I dyed myself, and I started in the top left corner. And there has not been any progress on this since I last showed it, I don't think. Let me take a peek. No, there has not. Come on. There we go. And, oh my god. Okay. That is where we are. I don't know why, I just don't gravitate towards this piece. I do love like the red and the blues and the grays, but I just don't gravitate towards it. However, I will, it's not a UFO because I will be stitching on it. I will finish it at some point. Okay. So that's Adjust Your Sails. Next is a piece I brought out recently. This is, can I? Yes. This is Sunflowers Farm by Corey Batakori. And I have stitched on this recently, so there will be a before picture for this one. I was working on the bottom part, kind of fleshing that out a bit more. Can I? There we go. So you'll see a before picture for this one. I love working on this one. This is definitely going to be coming out again. It's just so cheerful. And I love sunflowers. And I love it on this blue fabric. This is Nocturne. This is on 40 count Nocturne by Picture This Plus. And I love how that's looking. I know I have the sticker on here somewhere. Yeah, it's 40 count Nocturne. So that one is an active WIP for sure. Even if I only work on it once a year, it's still getting progress. All right, the next one, actually, I started this back in like 2021 or 2022 and haven't worked on it since, but this did not make it into my WIP Parade last year. I totally forgot about it. No progress since last year, so not a big deal, but this is from Cross Stitch for the Earth by Emma Congdon. And it is, we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. I loved the colors on this, and that's why I gravitated towards wanting to stitch it. But my memories of stitching on this are from sitting in my mom's living room while I was visiting her while she was on chemo, and so it doesn't have very good memories attached to it. And I'm actually pretty far. Like, I think most of the bottom is, if not all of the bottom is done. And I think it's just the top above the water. No, there's a bit more, I think. There might be a few fish or something like that. Yeah, there's a few fish, and there's a bit of stuff around the sea there for children. But really, I'm pretty far on this. This WIP is on pause for the reasons I mentioned, but it's not a UFO because I will finish it at some point. And I have all the floss and everything set aside for it, so it would be easy to pick up. All right, the next one, I don't think this made it into my WIP Parade either last year, but I haven't stitched on it since. It has been on pause, but I'm going to be working on it this summer. It's called It's All Better at the Beach it's called Better at the Beach, and it says It's All Better at the Beach by Imaginating, designed by Ursula Michael. And I do not have much on this. I had these grand plans of making a gift for several people I was going to be seeing at some function, and I burned myself out trying to finish gifts in this one. This one barely made it at all. It is being stitched on a 46 count. 40 count. It just feels like 46 count. 40 count Fog by Picture This Plus, and really, that's it. That's all I got. Yeah. So I have been feeling like adding to it, so this is going to be coming out soon. If not this week. I mean, we are in summer, and today's July 1st, so that might come out very soon. All right, next we have a Luca S kit. This is called Summer Landscape. I love Luca S kits. I think they are so well made. I have stitched on this since my last WIP Parade, so there will be a comparison. I started in the middle and was working my way over there. This is stitched on 18 count, like ivory natural Aida, and it has very light counting lines for every 10 stitches. And here's the whole piece. And then get up closer. This is where I am. So I've really just been picking symbols from the bottom and working them wherever they go. The house, the roof is like right here. So I really enjoyed working on this. I think I've done quite a bit since my last WIP Parade, which you should be seeing the comparison. And this is really enjoyable to stitch on. I typically don't use easy count type fabrics, but these lines have been helpful, so it's been an interesting experience. I don't know when this is going to come out next, but it is definitely still considered an active WIP. Okay, the next one is a WIP that's on pause. It is a Super Mario map for a Super Nintendo video game. It's from Boxcat on Etsy. This is what it's going to look like, and I started in the top left corner and have just been working down in the column of pages. But this one is on pause because I have another video game map, which is the next one that I'm going to show you, that I am focusing on a finish. So this one can start coming out once I finish that one. Both the video game maps are for my brother, who loves retro games. This is being done on a 28 count white Lugana, and I'm stitching it two over 1/10 stitch. two strands of floss over one fabric thread is what I'm doing. So it stitches up pretty quickly. And I think it looks really good. I just decided I was splitting my focus too much, and if I wanted to get either of the maps done, that I needed to focus on one. And I picked the one that was further along. And this one, of course, has way more stitches than the other one. So I decided to focus on a finish. Okay, so this one, I will put in a picture of what it will look like when it's done. This is from Earthbound 2, another Super Nintendo game. And this is the starting map, which is the town of Onett. And I am stitching this on an 18 count ivory Aida, 2/1 full cross. And I have done a lot since the last WIP Parade. Here's what it looks like. And I will have this over here so that you can kind of see the comparison. There we go. I had finished that bottom right page, and then I started on the top left page and got most of it done. I would really like to have this done for my brother's birthday next year. So when I put together a goals video, which I'm going to be doing after the WIP Parade, I will have goals to that effect. So this one's not bad. You just kind of like fill in all the bits and pieces first, and then you do the green around it. And then I kind of work the border in as I go. So. And I'm stitching that one in hand. I don't know why, it just needed to be done in hand. Usually smaller pieces like the Dimensions Gold Petites I stitch in hand and I just roll up the fabric. And then larger pieces I will use a Q-snap. I have an 8-inch Q-snap and an 11-inch Q-snap, and I just rotate through projects. All right, the next one that I consider summer is my Long Dog Samplers Death by Cross Stitch. This was a new start since my WIP Parade, and I started in the bottom left-hand corner here. This is being stitched on a 32 count Vintage Sahara, I think. I think I have the sticker. Yeah, 32 count Vintage Sahara by Picture This Plus. And this is where I am. Still working on my first page. But I pull it out every once in a while and put in like an entire length of 6 strands. So I'm hoping that by the next WIP Parade that I'll at least have this first page finished. So yeah, that one's fun to pull out. All right, the next one, I believe this was a new start. Yeah, I didn't have any befores for this one. This is Yvonne Cleric, 1905 by Reflet de Soie. And I just love the birds and the little images and everything. And there's a dog. There's a dog in this corner, a peacock up there. It was just really fun looking. So I started over here with this parrot. I can't wait to get into the flowers too. So fun. Definitely a summer piece to me just because of all the colors, I think. I am doing this on, let's see, do I have the, no. But this is definitely a 46 count fabric, and it's either flax or like a natural raw. And that's where I am. So the bird is done, and I've been stitching in the green and everything that he's sitting on. So I pull this out every once in a while and put a couple lengths in. I am stitching it with the called for silks. This was a splurge for me. But yeah, this one's a lot of fun. So that'll come out whenever I feel like working on it. Okay, we're getting down there. All right, this next one is a full coverage. This is Siren's Lament by Ann Stokes, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and you should be seeing an image of what it will look like. I started this in 2023. I have put in almost 3,000 stitches. This piece has about 207,000 stitches total, which means I'm at 1.43%. And that's it. That's all I have. I don't even have a full page finish. The thing is I wanted a new start, and so I started this, and then I committed to a supersized the Grand Library instead, and this just kind of went away. This one's basically on pause for now. It's just not a focus, and since it's over 1%, like, it doesn't even fall into the category of me wanting to get it to 1%. I think if I do raise the threshold of my full coverages and I want to get a full page on everything, then this would come out to get a full page for sure. I'm stitching this on 28 count white Lugana, and I am doing it 2/1 tent stitch. So that's two strands of floss over one fabric thread, doing a half cross. Okay, and then the next one is another full coverage. This one I actually want to work on. This is the Unicorns by it's either by Amy Stewart or Lisa Parker. I think it's Lisa Parker. And it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it will look like when it's done. I started this in like January of 2020 and then didn't work on it again until last year. Either last year or earlier this year. And I put in a couple more 100 stitches and I haven't even got a full page on this one. If I have a before, I'll show it. Otherwise, there just hasn't been any work on it since the last WIP Parade. This one, I've done 2,600 stitches out of 328,000 stitches. I'm at 0.81%. So this one definitely needs to get to 1%, but beyond that, I actually really want to work on this. So I'm going to get it to 1%, and then I'm going to probably, it's going to be something that stays out for a full page finish, and we'll kind of go from there to see how I feel about it. Because I haven't really picked a new full coverage focus piece since Ex Machina was finished. So we'll see. But this one's calling to me. All right, the next one is a full coverage. This is Supersize the Grand Library, art by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. You should be seeing what it will look like when it is finished. I started in the bottom left-hand corner. And I do not know if there's progress since the last. So either you'll see the before or not. I had paused on this because I didn't like how the 2/1 tent stitch was working out on this. It just seemed like it was a little too fuzzy, like not, the image just didn't feel clear enough for all the bits and pieces that are in there. And so I have changed to doing 1/1 full cross. So moving forward, that's what I'm gonna do. So let me get you a close up. There's not much to see yet. This has also been calling to me, and I definitely want to work on this more. This one, I have done 5,600 stitches out of 715,000 stitches. I am at 0.79%, so I definitely, it needs to at least come out to get to 1%. And this is my largest piece. This is the largest piece I have. So, especially now that I changed it from tent stitch to full cross, it's going to take twice as long as I originally calculated. So, we'll see. All right, the next one is TF2 Babies, which is an image my son picked out for me to stitch for him. So I put it into my cross stitch software, and I started this in 2020, and it has been on pause, on and off. I need to work on it more. I have worked on it since the last WIP Parade. So here's where we are. And you'll see that bottom row, I've been working on the next page over. I definitely need to do more. Definitely need to bring this out. This will be in my goals video. This is another piece that I do want to actually finish sooner rather than later because it's a gift for my son. So I'll be putting together some goals for this and hopefully sticking to them. This is being done on a 28 count white Lugana 2/1 tent stitch, and this is about, I mean, once I get that last page done there, this will be about 25% of the project. So, needs to come out. All right, the next one is The Dolphin's Domain by Dimensions. This was started early last year, so I do have a before picture for this one. And I started in the middle. This is being done on a light blue 14 count. And here is where we are. Oop. So I believe I've worked on it since the last WIP Parade. So we'll have a before and before here to see a comparison. I pulled this out the other day to try and work on it, and I just couldn't get into the groove, so it did not happen. I pulled out something else instead. This one might be on pause. This one might be on pause for a while because there's just other WIPs that I want to work on instead. All right, so there's that. All right, one left. So this is The Shores of Hawkrun Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. And I have started with the center block and started in the center of the center block. I started this early last year, I think, either last year or the summer of 2023, and have not stitched much on it. I did pull it out just yesterday to get some more in, so there is a change from the last WIP Parade to here. I'm stitching this on a 32 count Belfast linen in the color Jade by Picture This Plus. And here we are. So let me get you in closer. So I finished filling in the base of the boat and started working on that white sail over here. Yeah, this one definitely needs to come out more. And I've been having so much fun with Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow that it's made me want to bring this one out, especially since it's summer. This one needs to come out more. And I have to say, like, this fabric is showing a little like grayer and muted than it really is, but I love this. I love it on this fabric. I think it's going to be so great, and it's just very, just speaks of the sea, I think. So that one will definitely come out on and off. And I have that one fully kitted too, so it's easy to pick up and put down. Okay, so that was summer. And we are at 39 minutes in. All right, the next we're gonna do is autumn. It's my favorite season. I'm definitely looking forward to autumn in West Virginia with changing leaves. I haven't experienced that in 30 years. So in autumn, first one up is a Mirabilia. This is, oh gosh, Lilith of Labrador. And I started in the middle and was working my way up. I think this was a new start last year, and it was not before my WIP Parade. I am doing this on a 28 count Lugana in Haunted by Picture This Plus. I got this idea from Angela Stitches here on Flosstube, and I loved the way hers turned out on this fabric, so I had to do it. Oh, she's gonna look so good. I put the darker spot at the bottom because I figure if she's in the water, it's gonna be darker lower and lighter higher. So this is a new start, and you can just see her arms on either side with her body in the middle kind of coming out. I need to bring this out more. It'll definitely come out at some point. It's been a long time since I've had a Mirabilia on the go. I did stitch Gypsy Queen, which is finished. But that one needs to come out more. Okay, next. This one is Haunted Carousel by the Witchy Stitcher. You should be seeing what it will look like when it is complete here. I am stitching this on a, let me see if I have the tag. I'm stitching it on a 32 count linen in Mirage by Picture This Plus. And that's where we are. Oh, looks good. This might be like a focus on a finish this autumn, actually. I think it looks so good. I have stitched on it since the last WIP Parade, so there'll be a comparison. Let me kind of pull it back so you can see. I know that that carousel horse was not there before, and I think I've filled in some of the color in the top of the carousel too. So now I'll bring it in close. Yeah. And this one is in Pattern Keeper, so it kind of makes it easier to work on. So that'll come out once I really get into like my autumn stitching. All right, the next one is Autumn Dream by Cottage Garden Samplings. Look like this. It's one of the Songbirds Garden series, number 11. And this one needs to come out more too. When I do stitch on it, I get a lot done, but then there's just such a too much time goes by between. Now I am stitching this on a 40 count Valor by Picture This Plus. A lot of my older projects that were started like 2022 or earlier were mostly like Picture This Plus fabrics. So that's where I am. Not very far. I definitely need to get back to this. This might go in my goals because this is one of my oldest projects and it is not very far along. All right, the next one, I charted this one myself. It is called The Pumpkin King, and it is Jack Skellington, as you will see in this photo. This one's kind of on pause, although I did pull it out last Halloween time, so it might come out this Halloween time for like a little bit. Here's where it is. We're pretty far. So, but it's kind of on pause. I haven't really, I don't know. Just haven't been wanting to stitch on it. Hi Evie, do you want to talk to everyone? Here's Evie. She's my little black kitty. Are you a good girl, Evie? Are you gonna talk to me? Yes, you are. You say hi? So that's Evie, short for Evelyn. She's 3 years old. All right, this next one did not make it into my WIP Parade last year because I completely forgot about it. This is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. Image of what it looks like up here. And I am stitching this on a 32 count fabric that I got from Hobby Lobby. I don't remember what it's called. It's like this orangey red fabric, and I'm doing my own colors. I am doing it 1/1 full cross, actually. And I started this probably in 2020, and I finished this first pumpkin and then haven't stitched on it since. So this one's kind of on pause, but I will pick this up at some point. And when I pick it up, it's probably going to be like a focus piece. So I don't know. I think for a while I was like, why am I doing this 1/1 full cross on 32 count? And probably didn't want to work on it, but I'm actually okay with that now. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, this is a full coverage. You'll be seeing the photo of it here. It's called Minnie the Scarecrow by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I am stitching this on 22 count hardanger, 2/1 full cross, and here's what it looks like. I have worked on this since the last WIP Parade, so I'll hold it over here so you can see. I did work on her hair, I think, is what I did, and I believe it's just all black. This one, I have 8,900 stitches complete out of 77,000. I am at 11.51%. So, you know, I work on pretty large projects when I do full coverage, and I think for my goals, I'm going to be picking one of the smaller full coverages to focus on a finish, because I think that's really going to give me like a momentum boost of getting like another full coverage finish so soon after Ex Machina was finished. So this could be a contender for that. Yeah. All right, next. This is another full coverage. This is an image I found online. I am stitching it for my brother. It is, what did I call this? Mark of Chaos. It's a reference to Warhammer 40K. And here's where I am. I don't remember if I started this early last year or if it was in the summer of 2023, and I don't remember if this made it into my WIP Parade or not. If it did, you'll see a comparison here. I've definitely worked on it in the last year. But I think for my brother, I'm focusing on the Earthbound 2 video game map. So this one is kind of being put on the side. I am stitching this on a 28 count linen, stitching 1/1 full cross. And like, you can just see, it's got great coverage. Looks good. Just needs more work on it. All right, next. Oh, here's another contender for a possible finish. This is Ornament Witching Hour by Lisa Parker, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm stitching this on a fabric I dyed myself. It is a 28 count Bugana. And here's where we are. No change. I haven't stitched on this since the last WIP Parade. But I'm at 96, I've stitched 9,600 stitches out of 22,000 stitches. I'm at 44% on this. So this might be the one to finally, just to get finished. Because I'm stitching this 2/1 stitch, which means the remaining 12,000 stitches is really 6,000 strokes, 6,000 legs of stitch, and 6,000, if I focused on this, I could do that in a month. Absolutely. All right, this next one is on pause. This was one of the first full coverage pieces I ever started, and I did it on like an 18 count 2/1, and it is called Mini Watchmen by Lisa Parker, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. You'll see what it looks like here, and here's where I am. I stitched on this one session meaning like a couple days in a row, and then stopped, and it's been on pause ever since. So this is probably was started 2019, I think, and it's just not a focus piece right now. I have too many other full coverage pieces that I want to stitch on more than this one, but I have not UFO'd it yet because I'll probably get to a point where I want to stitch on it. All right, this next one is The Commodore by Marta Dalig, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. You'll see what it looks like here. I'm stitching this on a 32 count linen in white, and I am stitching it 2/1 tent stitch. And here's where I am. You'll have seen it in my last WIP update because I did work on it. So there should be a before and after showing up here. I thought this was going to be my new focus piece after Ex Machina was finished, but I don't think it is. I love her, and I'll still work on her now and then. But I don't know. So she's looking good. All right, the next one was a new start. I started this actually this year. It is Prue from Original Charmed. You'll be seeing an image of what it will look like when it's finished here. And I only put in one session on this. This will definitely get a goal of getting to 1% because this is all I am. I started in the middle because I wanted to do her face first. And I've done about 1,000 stitches out of 490,000 stitches. I am only at 0.21%. So this will come out at some point to at least get it to 1%. And that's it. I'm doing it 2/110 stitch on a 28 count Lugana. And this is, it's like a light gray color. I decided I didn't want to use white. All right, next, I think this is the last full coverage for the autumn. This is Catfish Cthulhu version 2. Artwork by Natalie Ewart, charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. And I'm stitching this on an 18 count ivory Aida. And this is where I am. Since the last WIP Parade, I have worked on that eye, the red eye, and I think that's all I did. This one's just not a focus piece right now, and so I don't know. This one's probably in the pause category. Oh, where is it? I have about 16,000 stitches complete out of 116,000 stitches. I'm at 13.9%. So, a good chunk. It'll be a focus piece at some point, but again, I was really stitching this one for my brother as well, and just like the Mark of Chaos one, I'm focusing on the Earthbound 2 map. All right, this next one is M. Satterthwaite, 1807, by Shakespeare's Peddler. I think this is a new start since last WIP Parade. I don't think there's a before picture for this one. I started in the top left corner here. And I am stitching this on 56 count. It's like a real dirty gray. I don't know. I don't know what the fabric is from though. But it's a gorgeous dirty fabric. Oh, look at that. So this was a new start. And I think for me, this one is an autumn stitch just because it's got this dark grungy fabric. It's mostly monochrome. It just feels autumnal to me. So here we go. That one will have to come back out at some point. Next, this one is on pause, and I think it's just because I have too many autumnal whips going on. This is that one? No, here it is. This is Celebrate Halloween by Madame Chantilly. And it just hasn't been calling to me. At some point, it'll trigger and I'll just want to work on it until it's done. But for now, it's just kind of on pause. I'm stitching this on a 28 count remnant. It was... And then there's white there. I have stitched on this since the last WIP Parade, so you'll see a comparison. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Lugana by Fortnite Fabrics. I don't remember what it's called because I've had it for a long time. And that's all I have. At some point it'll come out, and again, like I said, I'll just finish it, but for now, that's where we're at. Well, I'm gonna have so much stuff to clean up when this is done. All right, the next one is Halloween Eve by Blackbird Designs. This was a new start last year. I started in the bottom center, I think. Either that or the bottom corner, whichever. We'll see in a second. I have not stitched on this since last autumn, so it'll definitely come out this year. I don't remember what I'm stitching this on. I think it's a fiber on a whim. It's like a dirty brownish orange, and that's as far as I've gotten. This is a 46 count, and I'm stitching it 1/2 full cross. Beautiful. I think, yeah, that's the full width. I've reached the other side. So, and I think I cut this fabric to fit. So you've got, it's gonna fit on here. So that definitely is gonna be coming out when Halloween stitching starts. All right, next, I don't think this made it. This is actually a mini finish, but I have this little booklet, Tricks or Treat, by Blackbird Designs, and I want to stitch every one of these. I think I have I have Moonstone by Fiber on a Whim. This is a 46 count. And I think I have like a fat half of this. And I stitched one of the ornaments. It's this one. And this was all monochrome, one color, and I chose to do 2 colors. So I have like it's like a dark grayish black and an orange. And I think they might be Weeks Dye Works or the Gentle Art. And it's tiny. Like, here's my hand. So I was thinking of making like ornaments, you know, for like a Halloween tree. Alright, we're getting down there in this one. Oh, no, none of those are starts. Alright, the next one is Halloween This Way by The Primitive Hare. I have stitched on this since the last WIP Parade. I started in the middle with this one. And I'm doing all of the called for on this, which means I'm using the called for fabric, which is something spell. Oh dear. Dark Spell. 30 count Dark Spell, and I'm doing it 2/2 full cross. This has definitely gotten, I've done all the white, and then I was starting to fill in the black. So I think before I just had like an outline. I don't think I had the white filled in. This may or may not come out. I have a lot of Halloween type projects that I think I'll probably pick just a few for this year to work on. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of them. Alright, the next one was a new start last year. This is Halloween Letters by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Love these colors. I barely started this. This is on a 40 count fabric, I think. 40 count in oaken. And I just started at the top mill. Couldn't even finish the H. This one might actually come out. I like how I can pick bits and pieces of this and feel like I get mini finishes. So this'll most likely come out this autumn. Okay. Next is When Witches Go Riding by Tiny Modernist. Let me get the... It was a 4-part series. This is what the full thing will look like. And I started at the top middle. Sorry for the crinkle. I am stitching this on Peridot by Fiber on a Whim in 40 count. And I have worked on this since the WIP Parade. So you can see where it was and where I got to. I filled in the angel and then got all those things from the left finished. So that's what it looks like right now. I'll definitely pull this one out. I'd like to make some progress on this. But yeah, this one's fun. It's cute. And this fabric is not showing up. It's a bit more green than that. Okay. Next one, this one is on pause. This is one of my oldest projects. It's called Castle Lake Creek by Glendon Place. That's what it's gonna look like. I started with the top row of pages, which are basically done except for that ginormous moon. And I'm doing this on 16 count Haunted by Picture This Plus. And it looks good, like it's gonna look good. I just have a block against stitching on this one for some reason. So, no plans to work on it right now, but at some point I will work on it. Okay, the next one, second to last, is Grimoire by Madame Lafille. Here's what it's going to look like. I started in the top left corner. And I am stitching this on a 46 count. Ooh, it still has its tag. 46 count Cypress by Fiber on a Whim. And I am not very far. This one's also on pause. That's as far as I've gotten. I don't know, it doesn't call to me. But I haven't given up on it. I'm sure at some point I'll switch gears. Okay. The last autumn piece is Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow, which I have been working on a lot lately. Here's what it's going to look like. I had started in the middle so that I could stitch on whichever block I felt like stitching on, and that has definitely been the way to go, I think. I've really enjoyed kind of picking and choosing which block to work on. I am officially more than halfway through this piece. This is being stitched on a 40 count vintage country mocha, which is just a Zweigart printed fabric. And here's what it looks like. I'm gonna kind of get it over here so that we can see the comparison. If you watched my last WIP update, you'll notice that I have worked on this since then. But yeah, so since the last WIP Parade, this block got finished, this block got finished, and then I have started on this block. And that's where I am. So yeah, I love this piece. I'm definitely in my groove with it. Okay, so that is autumn. So those were the two largest categories. Now we're going to do winter, which has 5 projects. So the first one I'm going to show you is a prairie schooler. I typically always have to have a prairie schooler on the go. This is called December. I started this for my birthday last year, so this is a new start. I am stitching the big one. So let's get you in there. My birthday is December 1st, so I started this for my birthday. Did not get very far though. I started in the middle with the smoke and then brought down to the houses, and I'm working my way to the bottom so that I can work my way back up. Because the bottom is, that section is full coverage. So I think I'd like to get that done first so it's not last. I am stitching this on 36 count Winter Moon, and here's where we are. Sorry, it's gonna storm soon, and it is really hard to get the lighting around here. So that's where I'm at. I really like this one. This one's definitely gonna, well, probably most of the winter pieces, since I only have 5, will be coming out this winter. All right, the next one is a full coverage, because I didn't have any full coverage winter pieces. This one is called Small Steampunk Santa. The artwork is by Ruben McHugh, and it is charted by Charting Creations. And I'm stitching this on stash fabric. I dyed this fabric myself. This is a 22 count hardanger. And I started in the top left corner. Got pretty far considering I worked on this for like 2 or 3 days. And I have about 1,700 stitches done out of 86,000. I am at 1.95%. This will come out over Christmas again, and I'll probably make some Christmas goals for it. This next one is a dimensions kit. It's called Winter Cardinals. This was a new start last year after my WIP Parade, and I've actually stitched quite a bit on this. This one's been really enjoyable to stitch on. This is on a 14 count light blue Aida, and I started in the middle. That's where we are. Quite a bit of progress for a new start. The remaining colors on that bird are a bunch of reds, and I'm going to be doing the reds last, so the red cardinal is going to be very last. Yeah. Looks good. This one will definitely come out as well. Okay, the next one, this one was started a while ago. This was probably back in 2019. This is Woodland Glow by Dimensions, and I haven't stitched on it in a really long time, probably not since 2020. This one's on pause. I'll focus on it at some point, but I think Winter Cardinals really pulls me more. So this is being done on a 14 count navy, and it's a very pitiful start. That's all I have. That's all I have. Yeah, and I think I just could not get into the groove of stitching this, and I was stitching it in hand, and I wasn't sure how to manage all the different colors and, you know, the page breaks and everything, and so I just couldn't get into it. All right, the last one you have seen recently if you've seen my WIP update. This is Holiday Glow Stocking by Dimensions Gold. And I'm loving this. This is probably gonna come out even outside of Christmas time because I want to get it done. This is being done on an 18 count white Aida. You will see the before and after here. I have made a lot of progress since the last WIP Parade. Looking good. Pull you in. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, I love this one. Definitely want to work on that more. Okay, so that's all the winter. Now we have spring. And I'm gonna it's gonna be such a mess to clean all this up. Okay, last section. So the first one I'm going to show you is actually my most recent start, and I consider this spring because of the flowers. This is Spiritus Vitae, which is artwork by my sister, Diana Alsip, and charted by me. And I am stitching this on a 28 count Mushroom Lugana. And that's where I am. I have about 1,000 stitches in here. Get up close and personal. I finally got in the groove on this piece. I am stitching this the typewriter method, which I learned from Stitchin' Mommy, and I'm picking colors up near the top and then stitching them wherever they go. And I'm kind of doing a focus on this center part, and then I'm going to work my way this way. And then after I get enough done on that side, I'm going to work my way that way, and I'm just going to slowly work my way down. So right now this is my 100 stitch a day project, just to get it going. Let's see, I have done about 1,000 stitches out of 150,000 stitches. I am at 0.66%. So this project will at least get to 1% before I put it away for whatever length of time. I am, during my goals video, I'm going to be going over all of my full coverage pieces, kind of picking things out that are going to be focuses and things that need to get to a certain goal before I can put them away, stuff like that. This next project is out of this book, The Art of William Morris. I love William Morris. There's several projects I want to stitch in here. This, get to it. Here it is. So this is the Orange Tree Bell Pull, but I'm not doing it as a bell pull. I'm basically cutting it in half and I'm doing two separate pieces. that'll be framed separately, but hung together. I love it. And I'm doing it on a 14 count green Ada, and I started in the middle. Sorry for the wrinkles, it got squashed. And here's where I'm at. This was a new start this year. And I'm using 3 strands over an Ada square full cross just to make it pop. And this one stitched up fast. Like, that was one session. I could definitely get this done if I focused on it, but as of right now, it might not come back out until next spring. Or mid-winter when I want it to be spring. All right, the next one is another full coverage. This was a new start this year. This is supersized Birds, Butterflies, and Blooms by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I am stitching this on a 28 count Lugana 2/1 tent stitch. And here's where I'm at. For a new start, I think that's pretty good. I am working from the top left corner, and I'm doing the typewriter method across the first page, picking symbols and then stitching them wherever they go, which is why it's kind of spread out a bit. I love this piece. This piece has actually been calling to me. I have stitched 4,500 stitches out of 713,000 stitches. It is just about 1,000 stitches less than my largest full coverage piece. So this is a very close second largest. And I am at 0.64%, which means I will be pulling this out to get it at least to 1%. The next full coverage was also a new start this year. Ugh. I had set all of my projects in neat little piles on Sunday. Today's Tuesday, and my cats have covered them with cat hair. This is the Owl Messenger. I believe this is by Ann Stokes, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And here's what my start looks like. I originally started it over 2/2 and just didn't like how big and blocky it looked, so I switched it to 2/1 tent stitch. And I have 4,200 stitches out of 297,000. I'm at 1.43%. And I think this one it's being put away for now. It's over 1%. And I don't really feel the urge to work on it right now. So I have other full coverages that I'd like to focus on. This next one, which might be the last full coverage piece, is Supersized Impossibilium by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is where I'm at. I am doing this, I'm stitching each 10 by 10 block in a diagonal across one page. I call that the Jessie Marie Does Stuff method because I learned it from her. I have about 11,000 stitches complete out of 552,000 stitches. I'm at 1.95%. Yeah. That one needs to come out more, but we'll see. We'll see what goals I end up putting on it. All right, the next one is a Plum Street sampler. This is called Spring Moon. It's gonna look like that. I do have a before picture of this, so you see how much I've worked on it this spring. I am stitching this on 46, no, is it 46 or 40? Let me check. 40. It's 40 count Ancient by Picture This Plus. And this is where I am. And you'll get a before picture here to see what I've worked on. I did work on this this spring. It might not come out until next spring at this point. But looking good. Love the colors in this piece. All right. Next one is one of my favorite WIPs. This is called Hawthorne Hills Sampler by Rosewood Manor. Mine does not look anything like this. I changed the fabric to a blue fabric, and I changed the coral colors, the two coral colors, to purple. So, started in the top left-hand corner. This was a birthday start in December 2023. And I work on this here and there. This is on a 32 count even weave. Do I have the, yes, In Dusk by Fiber on a Whim. And you can see the difference from last WIP Parade. I have stitched on this quite a bit. The entire top row is done now. And that's what it looks like. Looking good. Oh, the purples I'm doing, so the purples you'll see are in place of those coral colors. And the purples I'm using, the dark purple is DMC 550, and the lighter purple is a blend of DMC 552 and... No, that is wrong. That was my original idea, and that is not correct. The darker purple is 3834 DMC, and the lighter purple is DMC 3835 blended with 3836. So, love it. So that comes out here and there. Next, we have one more piece that is out of this Emma Condon book, Cross Stitch for the Earth. Let's see, where is this one? It's kind of near the front. Okay, I am doing Pardon the Weeds. We are feeding the bees. And this one is definitely going to be a focus on a finish. I am stitching this on Valor, 40 count Valor by Picture This Plus. And here's where I'm at. No change from last WIP Parade. I have not worked on this. I started this at the beginning of 2024. This needs to finish. And I did buy a frame for it, so I'm already like prepared. So that's a gift for someone, which is why I want to finish it. The next one is another Songbird Garden series by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is Have Courage. And I do not believe I've stitched on this since my WIP Parade. This is on a 46 count natural linen. And this is where I am, pretty far. This one's also on my mind to finish up. So that's where I am. beautiful. All right, and then just a few more left. We're almost there. This next one is on pause. It's another Rosewood Manor. It's called A Tisket, a Tasket. I started this one before Hawthorne Hill, and I fell in love with Hawthorne Hill and put this one aside. So once Hawthorne Hill's done, then this will come back out as like a regular WIP. I started in that top left corner, barely made any progress. This is being done on a 32 count even weave. Do I have the thing for it? Silvery Moon, which I think is just a regular Zweigart. And that's it. That's where I'm at. So once Hawthorne Hill's finished, this will come out and be my active Rosewood Manor piece. There are several Rosewood Manors that I love. So. All right, this next one has been on pause since like 2019. This is a Dimensions Gold collection. It is Cherry Blossom Creek, and I made a counting error somewhere over here and just couldn't get into a groove, so it went away, but it'll come out at some point. At some point my mind will... Oop. Are you still here? We're still here. Okay. At some point I'll bring this out. This is on a 14 count light blue Ada, all the kit stuff, and here's where I'm at. So maybe next year's WIP Parade, this will be a challenge for me to at least stitch on this for one day. That would be nice. But that's it. That's where I'm at. All right, last WIP. This is another Dimensions Gold collection. It is called Tulip Trio. This is also kind of on pause, although I did bring it out earlier this year during spring to stitch on a bit. Oh, everything's wrapped up in here. This is on a 14 count, like ivory Ada, and that is where I'm at. So not very far, but more stitched than the Cherry Blossom Creek. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, it might come out in spring again, but I don't really have any real plans to give it a focus. Okay, well, that is it. That is my WIP Parade. That is 55 WIPs, and it was really good to kind of pull them all out and go through them again. I will be coming out with a goals video in the next week or two to kind of help me focus on things that I want to work on, and so that'll be good. But anyway, I hope that you liked this WIP Parade. Please let me know, like, what were your favorite projects that you saw me working on? Are there any of them that you're also working on? I'd love to know. If you made it this far, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!